Hi, welcome to my podcast entitled The Wright Experience. I'm Dr. William T. Wright Jr., the founder and host of this show. I'd like to dedicate tonight's podcast to the memory of my good friend and former radio colleague, Mr. Kim Lewis. Mr. Lewis also served for a period of time as an educator in the Durham public school system in his early years. May he rest in peace and may his family be comforted during this time. I'm now beginning my 9th year as a school superintendent and my 24th as a public school educator. Over those years, I've been fortunate enough to get to know and work with some amazing leaders from all across the United States. The vision of this show is to share these podcasts with you so that we can learn from people who are leading others every day. Our initial focus is on educational leaders, and we'll look to expand to other disciplines down the road. When you hear something that you like, please drop us a comment, click like, or if you're viewing us via YouTube, please click like, and most importantly, that subscribe button. I've been absolutely amazed at the responses we've gotten thus far. This show is growing by leaps and bounds, and for that, I'm thankful to you. This is episode 19 of The Wright Experience. My guest tonight is a veteran leader at the community college level, and she is serving as the new president of Roanoke Chowan Community College, which serves students in northeastern North Carolina, specifically students from Bertie, Hertford, and Northampton counties. She just arrived here in the Northeast a couple of months ago, and we're excited to hear about the work that she has already done and plans to do to serve families in this area. My guest tonight is Dr. Murray J. Williams. Dr. Murray Williams is president of Roanoke Chowan Community College. She previously served as vice president of adult education and academic support for Southern Crescent Technical College in Griffin, Georgia, and vice president of academic affairs for Atlanta Technical College in Atlanta, Georgia. Dr. Williams earned a Doctor of Education and Educational Specialist degree in Education Leadership and a Master of Business Administration, all from Liberty University in Lynchburg, Virginia. She also earned a Master of Christian Education from Luther Rice University in Lithonia, Georgia, and a Bachelor of Business Administration degree in Computer Information Systems from Delta State University in Cleveland, Mississippi. At this time, my guest, I'd like to welcome to the Wright Experience, Dr. Williams. Well, hello there.
Good evening. How are you doing tonight?
I am doing well. I'm doing well. It's a pleasure to have you aboard with us, and pleasure to have you also in Hertford County, even though we talked about where your district serves, where your school serves. We claim Roanoke Chowan as a Hertford County institution because that's where the college is. So welcome to Hertford County.
Thank you. I'm excited about being here.
And already off to a wonderful start. I know because I'm hearing that. So absolutely. So Dr. Williams, we'd like to get into the questions tonight, if you will, and I'm looking forward to hearing and learning from you and your expertise. Talk to us about some of the wonderful things that are happening at Roanoke Chowan Community College and your plans for the future of the college.
Well, currently we're getting up for our fall semester, which begins on August 16th. And right now we're in the midst of advertising our free college campaign. And what our free college campaign is, there are two versions of it. There's a version for high school students. Any high school student who graduated this year can go to our college for free over the next 2 years, but they must start in the fall. If they decide, oh, I want to sit out in the fall and I'll start in the spring, they won't be able to take advantage of the funds that are available. So they will need to enroll for the fall. So we're trying to encourage all high school students who have not made a commitment to other institutions to come over to Roanoke Chowan Community College and enroll in our college and be free for the next 2 years. We're also, the other section of that is for new and returning students. And what we're calling these funds, we're calling them the last chance funds. So every student would have to complete the FAFSA. But once you complete the FAFSA and you get that back, we find out how much Pell Grant you're getting. If it is not enough to cover your tuition, we have funding that can cover it. So really, this is the best time for students to come back to college. Those who have been there before and have left, this is a great time to finish what you started. Those who are trying to charter new pathways, this is the best time to do it. We are here to support our community and support the students in our community. So we want to see them on our campus. And on July 22nd, we are actually getting ready for what we're calling a Summer Fest event. And we're going to
Okay.
be inviting the entire community out because we want to see everybody on our campus. And we would just be celebrating the community, celebrating all of the great partnerships that we have in the community, and also have our faculty and staff available to enroll students. So we're excited about the things that are ahead at our college.
Okay. All right. Sounds like you hit the ground running and got some amazing things going on there. Now, let's circle back to this tuition. Now, you're talking about for the whole stay of the students, so not just a semester of tuition that's free,
No,
but
2 years for high school
actually,
students, the next 2 years to
wow, that's pretty
2023.
amazing. Yeah,
Mhm.
that's great. That's great. So we don't have any excuses to continue that post-secondary education, do we?
None whatsoever. And we
That's
are
right.
ready for you.
Outstanding, outstanding. So you kind of already touched a little bit on this, but I'd like for you to expound on this a little bit for us, if you will. What are some of the things that you believe make the community college experience the best choice for post-secondary education?
The reason I believe that the community college experience is the best choice is because we put people to work.
Hmm.
You can go to a four-year university, and there is nothing wrong with it. We have great four-year universities in the state of North Carolina. But when you come to one of our 58 community colleges, you can get started on a career. We provide you with real-world experience in our labs that we have on our campuses. We have great partnerships with our business and industry partners. And by coming to the campus, not only is our tuition cheaper than a
Hmm.
four-year university, but you also get prepared to go into the workforce. We have certificate programs where students can come in one semester or even 2 semesters and learn a skill and be able to go to work. And even if you desire to go to a four-year institution, why not get your start at a community college? Tuition is cheaper. English 1101 at the community college is the same English 1101 you're going to pay for at the four-year university. You're just going to pay half the price for it. And so while you're there at that community college, learning that skill, you can then leave our institution, transfer to a four-year institution, and while you're going to the four-year institution, you could actually be working because you have already gained a skill. So the community college to me changes lives. We
Right.
prepare the work for the workforce. We are the workforce engine of the state. And we actually help people to reconnect, to retool, and to earn a living wage. So I believe that community colleges are always the best option.
Outstanding, outstanding. That wasn't a shameless plug either. That was very good. But we do need that, and for those of us that are in K-12, obviously, we talk about post-secondary preparation and continuing on, and certainly the community college is an amazing option. I know some very successful people. In fact, I live with one that is a community college graduate who had a very promising career, has a very promising career, and has done very well with that associate's degree. So you're right. It is a very good preparation for going straight into the workforce post-secondary with the training and the lab work and all of that. You're absolutely right with that. And certainly in today's time, the jobs that you can get out of the community college are just as lucrative, if not more so, sometimes than those that you get from the four-year university. So thank you for saying that. Thank you for saying that. All right, let's roll on. Of your many accomplishments, Dr. Williams, and I know you've had many as an educator, what are some of your proudest moments?
I think one of my proudest moments is a young lady by the name of Christina.
Okay.
Christina came to our campus and she had some learning disabilities. And actually, she had been in our adult education program for about 4 years.
Mhm.
And she wasn't making any progress. And we had a teacher to take interest in her. And so, what we told her was, we need to test you again. And she didn't like that because when we tested her, she actually tested at a lower level than what she thought she was. But we told her, if you will allow us to work with you, we can get you where you need to go. In less than 2 years, she was graduating with her general education diploma. And now she is poised to finish community college. And we're so excited about what has happened in her life, to see her life get transformed. One of the things that I love about working in community colleges is that we meet people right where they are.
Uh-huh.
It doesn't matter what your education level is. It doesn't matter what your socioeconomic status is. It doesn't matter what your background is. When you come through our doors, we treat you like family and we begin to work with you. I will tell you another story that I'm very proud of, and that is a young lady by the name of Lynette. When I met Lynette, Lynette was living in her car,
Mm.
running in an abusive marriage with 8 children.
Wow.
But when you saw her on our campus, you would never know any of that was going on because all you saw was her bright smile. Lynette continued to matriculate at our college. She enrolled in our business management program. Her youngest child was in our daycare center, and her oldest child was actually taking college classes. Lynette became the student of the year for the entire state and began going around the state talking about the benefits that community colleges can bring. Now Lynette is employed at that college. And now she is telling her story and helping other people who were just like her now get a community college education. So I love it when I see students who are in what we would call desperate situations turn their lives around and then begin to give back and help others.
What an awesome testimony in both cases, and that's at the end of the day what makes our jobs in educational leadership so amazing is when we
Mhm.
see the product of our work, and so that's outstanding, outstanding, outstanding. So, Dr. Williams, some of my listeners are not necessarily higher ed folks. Some are not. But what advice would you give to a person who aspires to serve in a leadership capacity at the community college level?
Whether you're aspiring to lead in the community college or in any educational arena, the one thing I will say is make sure you are called to it.
Okay.
Leadership is a calling. It's not something that you just get up in the morning and say, hey, I want to lead. It doesn't work that way because leadership requires sacrifice. And most of the time, it is you sacrificing for others, not others sacrificing for you. And
Hmm.
not everybody is ready to give up of themselves or give up their desires. One of the things that I tell people, even in my becoming a college president, I look at it as now I have more people to serve, not that more people are serving me. So
Right.
leadership requires sacrifice, leadership requires dedication, leadership requires humility. And if you are not prepared to make sacrifices, to humble yourself, and to be dedicated to the call, then leadership may not be the thing that you should be doing.
Yeah, gotta have all of that. That's exactly right. Absolutely. Without those, you certainly won't last long in this profession. That's the truth. So we notice that most instructors, and certainly at the K-12 level, and I would assume even at uh, the higher ed level, most of the instructors are female. However, those percentages don't necessarily transition into leadership. What do you think needs to be done for our professions to attract more female educational leaders?
Mentoring.
Uh-huh. Okay.
Um, we need more role models. We need to begin to mentor people into leadership,
Mhm.
females as well as males. A lot of times in higher ed, you actually have more females in leadership than you do males in leadership.
Okay. Okay.
But I believe that if we began mentoring people, not when they get into college, but even in high school and in elementary school, and show them the value of being a leader in higher education and begin to plant those seeds early on, that we will end up with more people, more males and more females in higher education. Sometimes we don't see the value of females in leadership because even though, and I'll go with the president's level, when you look at presidents all across the state of North Carolina, Georgia, and other states, you are going to find more men in leadership in those roles than you will
Hmm.
find in women. And you have to ask yourself, why does the picture look that way? Because even as I desire to become a college president, I noticed most of the times when I would go in a room full of presidents, I couldn't find myself in the room.
Hmm.
And by that, I mean, I didn't see presidents who looked like me.
Sure.
And so I think we have to um, find those leaders in those situations and began to mentor other people who are coming up so that they can understand, yes, I can be at the table. There's an older lady that I know who makes this statement: either you're on the menu or you're at the table. And we've got to
Okay.
help people that look like us, help females become people who want to be at the table and not on the menu.
That's a good one. I'm gonna have to store that one away and use it again at some time. That's a pretty good one there for sure. Okay. Speaking of qualifications and things that you need, what traits do you believe are most important for a successful leader in the 21st century? And you've already touched on that somewhat, but
Mhm.
if you'd like to expound, I'd like to hear that at this time.
Okay. Of course, that depending on what area you're in, but if you're
Sure.
speaking of educational leadership,
Right.
um, definitely at a minimum, you will more than likely need a master's degree if you
Mhm.
want to advance. But even beyond the educational side, I still have to go back to the fact that you have to be humble.
Sure.
You have to be willing to make those sacrifices. You have to be willing to serve. Leadership, number one, is about serving. Servant leadership is underrated, but it is so much needed. Leaders can't come into the picture thinking that is my way or the highway, or that because now I sit at the top, then is my way. I'm the dictator. You can't do that and be a successful leader. You have to be willing to listen to the voices of other people. Just because you're the leader, your voice is not the only one that needs to be heard.
Hmm.
Another thing leaders need to understand is that when you're the leader, if you're the smartest person in the room, then you're in the wrong room because no one person knows everything. And
Hmm.
so great leaders surround themselves with people who are smarter than they are because you recognize that I don't have all the answers. I can't do everything. And I have to be able to build a strong team. That's another good trait that leaders have to have. You must be a team builder. because if you do not build a strong team, you're not going to be successful as a leader. Because even though the whole organization may rest on your shoulders, you can't do everything that is required in the organization. So I think being a good listener, being a good team builder, um, being humble to the point that you recognize that you don't know everything and that you don't have all of the answers, and being able to surround yourself with people who can support the vision that you have. Be a visionary, be someone who is willing to finish what you started. Don't be so quick to have so many ideas that you're jumping from one thing to the other and nothing ever gets completed. So I do
Mhm.
think that those are some of the qualities that we need to be successful in leadership.
That's absolutely amazing wisdom. And in fact, I'm sitting here listening to you and thinking, I tell my folks that often. And the one thing I add to that is once I've surrounded myself with those good people, I let them do the job that they've been hired to do. So
Right.
absolutely, that's critical and key. No more is a dictatorship successful in leadership
Mhm.
in modern times. I'm not sure that it really ever was, but certainly not in the 21st century. So
Right.
those are amazing points and very good viewpoint on where we are. So talk to me a little bit about some of the resources that you use, be they human or physical resources that you use in your leadership journey. You know, what books, people, whomever do you lead on in leadership?
Okay. Um, my favorite book is the Bible. And I get a lot of leadership principles out of the Bible, in particular the book of Joshua. It has numerous leadership principles in it that I
Okay. Okay.
lean on. Um, John Maxwell's books are also great for leadership and for team building, and I also use those as resources as well. But then I also lean on other leaders, other
Sure.
successful leaders. Sometimes as leaders, we try reinventing the wheel when we really don't need to. If the wheel, somebody has already invented the wheel, just borrow it for a few minutes.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
And so
Yeah.
I try to make sure that I'm surrounded by good leaders at all levels that I can use as a resource. And sometimes you just need to be able to talk through some things. And
Right.
everything you need to know about leadership, you're not going to find it in a book. And so you've got to have those go-to people. And so I do while I do read books, I also depend on other leaders as resources as well.
Mhm. Yeah. Experience is the best teacher, and sometimes that's personal experience, and or the experience of others, isn't it? So
Yes.
that's exactly right. Exactly right. So, Dr. Williams, I've pretty much exhausted my questions, but I wanted to give you an opportunity at this time if there's anything else that you would like to share about the work that you're doing that I perhaps have not covered. Uh, let me know what that is, and we can talk through that at this time.
Okay. I'd just like to say that we are very excited about this fall semester and what we're
Mhm.
doing at Roanoke Chowan Community College. We want to invite the whole community, all of Hertford County, out to our campus. Come check us out again.
Okay.
Come back and visit with us because our doors are open and we want to welcome the community back to our campus. I know everybody's been in because of the pandemic, but now it is time to get out. And while you're getting out and exploring everything, we're asking that you will explore Roanoke Chowan Community College.
All right. All right. What a great PSA. Very good. Hold on with me for just a minute, Dr. Williams, and we'll be right back to close out. My guest next week is going to be Mr. Jasmine Spain. Mr. Spain is an assistant vice president of student support at Pitt Community College in North Carolina. I look forward to this experience. That podcast will air a week from tonight at 7 o'clock p.m. And looking forward to that opportunity. That date is July 15th, 2021. Dr. Williams, I'd like to thank you so very much for being here on the show tonight and for giving us an opportunity to hear from you and your insight and your wealth of wisdom, not only in community college leadership, but in leadership in general. And I'm excited about the amazing things that are going on at Roanoke Chowan Community College. Sounds like you've got some wonderful plans and have tapped into some resources that are going to be very beneficial for our community for many years to come. And so we look forward to keeping you here and having you be a part of our community for many years to come. And so thank you for agreeing to be a part of this show.
Thank you, Dr. Wright. I enjoyed it.
Thank you very much, audience, for watching The Wright Experience. Good evening.